Hey everybody, and welcome to another segment of AstrologyAnswers.com's weekly forecast. My name is Terence. The week begins on Monday, September the 16th, 2024. This is going to be a very active week planetary-wise, especially because we're going to have a full moon lunar eclipse. But let's start with Monday. The moon that sets the public reaction and tone is in sensitive, compassionate Pisces. And it's going to be in harmony with physical, assertive Mars by early afternoon Pacific time. That moon Mars, because that Pisces is this charitable, the spiritual energies many times, in harmony with physical Mars, this could be very favorable for yoga, for any type of Tai Chi, any type of spiritual, physical practices. But on a more basic level, it could be ideal for swimming because Pisces is ruled by Neptune, the lord of the seas. And then we get to Tuesday. The moon in Pisces now becomes a full moon lunar eclipse. A lunar eclipse is a full moon, but on steroids. A regular full moon once a month will bring a lot of matters that's been hidden to the surface, a time of culmination, a time of wrapping up those things that's no longer working for you. But a regular full moon you may only be really feeling the reactions of it for maybe 2 days. But with a full moon lunar eclipse, the impact could last for a number of weeks. It is a time, in general, of letting go of that which no longer serves you, allowing for an emotional transformation. That's the Pisces energies. Now, this Pisces full moon lunar eclipse is also going to be in a hard angle to expansive Jupiter, creating a dynamic tension between the emotional depth of Pisces and the expansive intellectual curiosity of Jupiter in Gemini. This aspect, maybe for the next couple of weeks, can lead to a heightened intuition and spiritual insight. But there can also be a tendency to over-idealization or confusion in communications. Relationships that are business relationships, personal relationships, where there's been resentment and tensions and problems below the surface, could all come to a head, a time of culmination. So it's going to trigger a lot of changes, and weak relationships may need to wrap up and let go. On Wednesday, now the moon is in fiery, independent Aries. When the moon, especially with the full moon in Pisces, there's a lot more introverted, introspective, spiritual energies. When the moon, the public tone, goes into Aries, it's more about the self, the individual, being more aggressive, more independent. And the moon goes from sign to sign every 2.5 days. But the first 12 hours especially, Pacific time on Wednesday, communication Mercury will be in confrontation or in opposition to restricted Saturn. Mercury can represent information, and opposite Saturn, you could be getting bad news, blocked, frustrated news. On an individual, more personal level, you might be feeling really worried. And what the full moon lunar eclipse, which could take a while to completely unfold, that can really test relationships, that Mercury, as your agreements, your expectations, in opposition, that's interacting with others, with block Saturn. This is when you might be sensing a partnership, a relationship, personal, professional, could be hitting a wall, could be ending. On Thursday, the moon in fiery Aries will be in harmony with expansive, fortunate, optimistic Jupiter, especially peaking late morning Pacific time. This is a good day for traveling, which is Jupiter, education, Jupiter, publishing, marketing on your website, your social media. That's all really positive, all under the influence of Jupiter. Plus the sun for the whole day will be in harmony with an innovative, progressive Uranus. This is a very favorable day to try new things, be more open to new ideas in technology. There's also this wanting to be more free and independent that could go back to that lunar eclipse that wants to separate relationships that aren't working or serving you anymore. However, on Thursday, as the sun is in liberating, rebellious, freedom-loving Uranus, on Friday, now the sun is in opposition to or confrontation with Neptune. I told you this was going to be a busy, active week. That between the lunar eclipse on Tuesday, on Thursday, this sun in harmony with liberating progressive Uranus, you might hit on Friday with the sun in opposition or interacting with others with Neptune, nebulous, confusing Neptune. Now you may be second-guessing yourself. You may be unsure of all these new insights and new decisions you were thinking so strongly about on Thursday, and now on Friday you're not so sure. Plus, the moon has now entered into Taurus, and Taurus is an earth sign. Taurus can be very stubborn energies, and you may be feeling really worried and confused about all these changes that are happening. The answer, the advice is breathing, take your time, and don't make rash decisions, because especially on Friday with Sun Neptune, when you're interacting with others, you're not sure if you can trust them, or you're not understanding them. Now we get to Saturn, Saturday, sorry. Now we're on Saturday. The moon continue in steady, grounding, calming Taurus, and communication Mercury will be in a hard angle to expansive Jupiter. This is particularly strong the first 12 hours of Saturday on Pacific time. Now, Mercury and Jupiter are two sides of the same coin. Mercury's all this restlessness, and Jupiter's all this expansiveness. Mercury likes this restlessness to maybe get away for the weekend. Jupiter wants to get away for a couple of weeks or international. But when it comes to decision making, and so a lot of you will be really kind of rattled about being shaken out of your comfort zones. That Mercury, decision-making Mercury, in tension with expansive Jupiter, you may be having overinflated expectations. You may be making grandiose plans. You may be going over the top. But the moon in Taurus is going to be very helpful for keeping you grounded. But there's still this tendency to think large, expect large. And the sun, in the last half of the day, will be in harmony with Pluto. So then that's going to also help you pull back and start to really think about all these ideas you're thinking about, your long-range future, and then the Sun, Pluto, pulling it back and just doing a lot of introspection. Sunday, now the moon has left steady Taurus and is now in Gemini, restless communication Gemini, at 3:25 a.m. Pacific time. Gemini is an air sign. Air likes communications and freedoms and ideas and restlessness. The Sun has been in Virgo the past 4 weeks, and on Sunday, the 22nd, the Sun goes into Libra, another air sign, 5:44 a.m. Pacific time. So there's going to be a big shift with the emotional moon going into intellectual restless Gemini, and it's also the Sun going into Libra, which marks in the northern latitudes the first day of autumn, or the autumn equinox, which is equal day, equal night. So this is a powerful shift of energies, but all in air signs. This sense of ideas and communications is going to be really strong. I want to thank you for tuning in. I hope to see you next week with my next segment. Until then, be safe and well.